The Zodiac Killer is one of the most notorious unidentified serial killers in American history. The killer operated in Northern California during the late 1960s and early 1970s, and to this day, their true identity remains unknown. The Zodiac Killer got their name from the cryptic messages they sent to local newspapers, signed with a distinctive symbol resembling a crosshair. The first known attack attributed to the Zodiac Killer occurred on December 20, 1968, at Lake Herman Road in Benicia, California. Two high school students, David Faraday and Betty Lou Jensen, were sitting in a parked car when an unknown assailant approached and shot them. Both victims died from their injuries. Several months later, on July 4, 1969, the Zodiac Killer struck again in Vallejo, California. This time, the victims were Darlene Ferrin and Michael Mageau. The couple was sitting in a parked car when a man approached them, shined a flashlight, and fired multiple gunshots at them. Darlene Ferrin died, but Michael Mageau survived despite sustaining several injuries. The Zodiac Killer began sending letters to newspapers in the San Francisco Bay Area, taunting the police and claiming responsibility for the attacks. The letters were written in a cryptic code consisting of symbols and letters. The killer demanded that the codes be published in newspapers, or else they would continue killing. On September 27, 1969, the Zodiac Killer targeted a young couple, Brian Hartnell and Cecilia Shepard, at Lake Berryessa in Napa County, California. Wearing a black hood and a cross-circle symbol on their chest, the killer approached the couple and tied them up. The Zodiac then stabbed them multiple times before leaving the scene. Brian Hartnell survived the attack, but Cecilia Shepard succumbed to her injuries 2 days later. The most infamous act attributed to the Zodiac Killer occurred on October 11, 1969, in San Francisco. A taxi driver named Paul Stein was shot in the head by a passenger who had hailed his cab. The killer took a piece of Stein's blood-stained shirt as a trophy and sent it to the police as proof of their crime. The Zodiac Killer continued to send letters to the media, including encrypted messages that they claimed contained their identity. Despite efforts by experts and amateur codebreakers, many of these codes remain unsolved to this day. In the years that followed, several suspects emerged, but none were definitively linked to the crimes. The case eventually went cold, and the identity of the Zodiac Killer remains a mystery. The FBI and local law enforcement agencies have continued to investigate the case, but no breakthroughs have been made. The story of the Zodiac Killer has inspired numerous books, documentaries, and films, cementing their place in true crime lore. The elusive nature of the killer, their cryptic messages, and the brutal nature of the crimes have captivated the public's imagination, making the Zodiac Killer one of the most infamous and enigmatic figures in criminal history.